Welcome to your favorite Tennessee Titans podcast, Tennessee Titans Weekly.
Hulk.
Jacques,
Hulk.
what's up, folks? Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is your way. What is good? What's up, folks? What's up, Bleacher Report? We're here on Bleacher Report, man. Hey, we appreciate it as always. And for those that are not watching us on Bleacher Report, we're not live on any other platform like on YouTube or anything like that, but we are live here on Bleacher Report. We are here. Jacques, we're here, bro.
What's up with you? Man, how you feeling? How y'all feeling, man? Happy Wednesday, as they say. The middle of the week. You know what I mean? We're trying to get to the weekend, but I hope everybody's had a good day, a productive day. And man, you know why we here, man, to talk Titans, talk football, Bleach Report. We appreciate you. Let's get into it, man. Let's talk about this draft, Hulk.
Yes, sir, bro. Let's do
Like
it.
we've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, speaking of the draft,
Mhm.
so folks, we have talked tirelessly, relentlessly. Every show we've talked a lot about Cam Ward and the quarterback position. We've talked about Shador and things like that, but we've hinted a lot because again, we got the number one pick in the draft. Duh. We need to talk about that, right? We're the
Right.
talk, we're the talk of the league right now. And we still don't know exactly what's going to happen, but for what we think, we're going to assume that they draft a quarterback, and we're going to assume that they're going to draft Cam Ward round one, pick one. So,
Mhm.
Jacques, now it's time to kind of turn the knob, at least for today.
Mhm.
We're gonna start talking about round two, man. We're gonna
Okay.
start talking about building this team. And we've talked a lot about the drafts that we've had over the last few years. And as we know, again, last year our draft was pretty good. The years prior, the drafts were terrible.
Mhm.
So it's time to turn the clock now, looking at more draft picks down the road. And we're gonna focus in today on round two. So, Jacques,
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you as far as round two.
Mhm.
All right. So we've done a lot of, we haven't done our official mock draft show, but we have done a lot of research and things on players. So going into round two, pick number 35 in the NFL draft.
Mhm.
What position, and we got this poll question out there as well. What position should the Tennessee Titans target for
Hmm.
pick 35, round two?
So I want to do something we haven't done since 2019, maybe. I want to say maybe 2019ish is go wide receiver. Now we always talk wide receiver. We do this every year when we talk mock drafts. Hell, we did it last year. We've been wanting the Titans to draft a receiver, right? Higher, not lower, higher. And each year they've picked a receiver in the later rounds. Well, I think, like you said, the conciseness of and what the arrows and what everything is pointing to us drafting Cam Ward. So there's a trend in the league now where once you draft your quarterback either that year or the next year, you usually pair him with his receiver that he was with in college. I don't care what college he went to, but you pair him, right? Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I have Justin Fields just linked up with his receiver, right? The list goes on and on and on. So I think at this position, pick 35, if we don't trade it, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I think we should go wide receiver because what you want to do is you want to ramp this receiving core up one because right now the receiving core is looking kind of dull. You got Calvin Ridley, we have Traylon Burks, which they do believe in. Which hey, do your thing, right? Hopefully you can get some productive. First of all, make them stay healthy too, get productivity out of them. But after those two, who do you have, right? We don't have a real legit slot. We don't have a real legit number three, right? And this you can do that with this particular pick, and you have the pick of the litter because there are receivers that are going to drop, okay? And due to maybe some character issues, right? Maybe due to it might not be a team fit in this particular manner, or say the 40 wasn't the best, right? Luther Burden, I keep hearing him dropping out of the first round, which I don't know how true that is,
Yeah.
but we've seen different things, right? You got Isaiah Bond from Texas. You got Mbuke, I think it's his name, from Ohio State. So you will have options at 35 to be like, okay, hey, we got our quarterback. Let's pair him with some talent, right? Some young talent, because again, Traylon Burks is not getting any younger. Calvin Ridley is not getting any younger. So you need to replace that stock that you have in your stable. So I personally would like to go in the direction of wide receiver. What about you, Hawk?
Facts, no paper, Jacques. I think you said a lot of good things for sure as far as wide receiver. So I'm going to say this, and again, things can change. My
Mhm.
mind can change tomorrow, and when we do our mock draft, I might tell you something different. Hell, I might tell you we can go draft a kicker. I'm just kidding, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to highlight to say things can change. But
Mhm.
for where I stand today, Jock, I want to get a defensive end
Okay.
for round two. Here's my reason. I think there's more talent at defensive end than wide receiver in this draft.
Mhm.
I think to your point earlier, there's a lot of receivers, a lot of character issues, a lot of unproven receivers. Um, I think this is an opportunity for us because man, there's so many defensive ends in this draft, and and there's character issues on a few of them as well. I've heard that as well. But man, I'm gonna tell you this: with Harold Landry being gone, you have Arden Key, who's a veteran. I think he has one more year left on his contract. You got T Sweat, that's going to be there for a long time. You got Jeffrey Simmons, who I feel will be there for another few years as well. So the interior is good, but we need another pass rusher. We drafted Jalen Harrell last year, 7th round pick. You can't expect him to, you know, if for whatever you can get out of him, that's great. But outside of that, bro, that's all we got. So yes, we're kind of slumping at receiver, but I just think it's too much talent at defensive end when you look at players like Michael Williams, from Georgia. And I don't know if he'll be available. But you got Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. Like these guys, I know a lot of people talk about Abdul Carter and those guys. They'll already be drafted. But there's a lot of guys that is as good as Abdul Carter that could be available in the second round because many of the teams that are in this draft in the first round, defensive end is not an issue for them. We have an issue at defensive end. So I just think, man, it's really a weighted situation. I'm looking more for how much talent is out there. You even got Mike Green from North Texas
Marshall.
out
Oh,
there.
North Texas. Yeah.
Marshall,
Is it
right?
Marshall? Is it Marshall, North Texas?
It's
It's
Marshall.
Marshall.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Marshall. I get Marshall and North Texas kind of they look the
They look
exact
alike.
same.
Yeah.
Yep. So even from Ohio State, Jack Sawyer. I
Mhm.
mean, you got guys out there, bro.
It's a
And
deep,
defensive
deep
end
class.
is and these guys are really good football players. All these guys want a 4.5, 4.6, 6.6. I'm like, woo, right? So I'm gonna say defensive end for me right now
Okay.
for round two for me for the
Got it.
Titans.
Got it.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that in a minute too. But like you said, defensive end position is deep. It's a deep class to
Yep.
where you can get some in the second round, you get some in the third round. Here, you can even go to the fourth round. And those defensive end are productive, like 13 sacks, 14, 15 sack guys. So
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
So let's get into segment two, man.
Okay.
So with round two, what attributes should we look for in the particular position that we're looking for to elevate this team to the next level?
I'm gonna tell you this, man. We need speed. We need more speed. Offense, defense, whatever. We need speed. On defense, last year, as we have been in the past several years, we've been a strong defense. Like, we stopped the run and those things. Rush the passer last year was average. Turnovers was average. So not a lot of playmakers on our team. And sometimes I've even thought about drafting a playmaking safety in the second round. But I mean, like, we need speed. So if we happen to draft a receiver, let's make sure he's got some speed behind. Let's make sure he's a 4-4 guy if we can. Or if we draft a defensive end, get a 4-5 guy, man, that can bend around the corner and get some sacks. We need speed. And if we draft Cam Ward on offense, you have a guy that can, not only just say throw the football in the pocket, and you have a fast guy out there on the field and get open deep. If the play breaks down and he runs around, and you got a guy that's fast as a receiver, he can get open. And just by time with speed, it works. The Titans have not had speed in the last 10 years, 20 years. I can't think of a time when the Titans had a lot of speed. I think speed is something that I want from this player, whether it be a safety, a defensive end, a receiver, a tight end. We need speed. So I think that's an attribute that I would like for us to add. What about for you, Jacques?
Well, I mean, I'm carbon copy. I've been preaching this past 4 5 years that we've needed speed. We're just one of the slowest teams in the NFL. We haven't had speed since Chris Johnson, right? And then Chris
Yeah,
Johnson was a lightning bolt, man. Of course, the term lightning and thunder. But we haven't had speed. I mean, with our average speed, if they do a 44 NFL teams, it's probably like a 4.5, if that, right? And so we just don't have it. And it'll be nice to get it, right? Hopefully we get it. But I agree. We need speed. I mean, again, that's what the new NFL is speed. Speed kills, okay? And if you run a 4.2, 4.3, you're gonna get drafted. They don't care where they put you, but you're gonna get drafted. So for me, it's the same thing, bro. I can't say it no better. Speed. We need speed.
yeah. Speed kills for sure. You know what I mean? It's a difference maker for real. Most teams who made it far in the playoffs, you got like those Xavier Worthies, you got
Mm-hmm.
Tank Dales, you got those guys. It's like, whoa, you can just blow the roof off the ceiling. Seriously. So yeah, for sure.
And
So
I'll emphasize young speed. We got Calvin Ridley. He's old speed. We need young legs. So
yeah, for sure, for
I know
sure.
some people be like, "Well, we got Calvin." No, Calvin's not a. He's old speed. It's like
Right.
old money. We need new
Yeah.
money. So
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, so speaking of the second round pick, man,
mhm.
again, we talked a lot about Cam Ward, and and for those that watching us, continue to check us out. We're gonna have mock drafts as we always do, man, and our mock drafts are amazing. We over the last several years, we've actually drafted a guy that we actually picked on our mock draft. And that's just the honest truth. So, hey, we know what we're talking about. So, follow us. And even players that we've said we should draft it has ended up doing a very good job, even better than what we thought in the NFL. So speaking of that, we have pick number 35 in the second round.
Mhm.
I have a question for you about the second round pick.
Yes, sir.
Should we trade our second round pick? Would you be open to trading it? Now, if we do, what's your thoughts? What should we do in that regard?
Okay. So the second round pick, initially when we found out we had the first round pick and everybody was talking about trade and whatnot, I brought this up to you. The trade is not an end all be all, right?
Yep.
It's not a end all be all to where we just can't trade the first round pick. You have a high second round pick. And if players like Jackson Dart fall out the first round, Will Howard, right? He's not a first round pick, but you're going to have teams that want quarterbacks that's saying, hey, Titans, hey, you got pick 335. Do you mind if we come up there and do what we do? If we trade the pick, I'm not mad because I'm going to tell you, trade package. If you want 35, let's say the Steelers don't get their quarterback in the first round. Like, say if they happen, because right now they need a quarterback, and Will Howard or Jackson Dart falls to the second round, that's a team that I can see move up, right? They're not going to move up with, I think the Browns picked in the first, I think they got the first pick in the second round, I think. And then you got the Giants and then you have us.
Facts.
You're going to want draft capital. So, okay, hey, you want that second round pick? We don't have a third round pick. We need a third round pick and maybe a seventh round pick for next year. And we can swap picks or we swap late round picks.
I can't hear you.
Hold on.
No, I can't. Now I can hear you. Keep going. Keep
Okay,
cooking.
okay, okay, okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Yeah. So what happens is in that scenario, you can get a third round pick. You can literally get a third round pick by trading that second round pick. So yes, to answer your question, that's a big possibility because you have those quarterbacks that come in the second round and you can say, hey, we'll trade you for this. And then in your scenario where you say you want a DM, the DM position is still deep enough to say, hey, if we do trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers, you can get your DM. And there's a scenario where there are a couple of players that's been on 30 visits, right? The 30 visit with the Titans that is getting some love, like Kyle Williams, right? Kyle Williams from Washington State, who played with Cam Ward, right? Not saying you go and get him in the second round because he's slated to be a fourth round pick, I think. But you can get him with a third round pick, especially the pick that you pick high, right? Or whatever you swap with the Steelers. But yes, I would indeed trade that second round pick to get more picks because, again, don't trade that first round pick, but that second round pick is going to have more weight. The first round pick got more weight, but it's hard to trade up when you're in the first round. But the second round is a little bit more easier to move out and maneuver when you got that second round pick. So I would say if you get the opportunity, if a team wants to bite on a quarterback, because that's what they're going to try to probably trade up to get, do it. And once you do it, get a third round pick, and then we back in the game for real, right?
Yep.
What about you?
So, Jacques, so if I'm looking at trading this pick, to your point, we're pick number 35, right? And there are teams like the Raiders that is going to want a quarterback. You just mentioned about the Steelers and those things. The New Orleans Saints is going to need a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at, okay, who's behind us in this draft? Like, how many more slots can we go down to pick another third round pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also looking as well to see in the second round, or do any of these teams have 2 second-round picks? Do they have 2 third-round picks? So I'm absolutely listening. For me to trade, you better do something though. What I'm saying, I'm holding firm like a statue at the Statue of Liberty. I'm like this right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm holding firm. Whoever wants to cook a meal for me, bro, and wants to make that trade, we need your second round. And I'm speaking, I don't want to go down like more than 10 spots. It's got to be within that. The teams I just named are within that time frame, within that time slot or draft slot. The Saints, the Browns, well, the Browns picked before us. The Raiders is what I'm gonna say. The Raiders and the Saints are in that bucket. The Steelers are not. So, like with Pittsburgh, if you want to jump up and you want to get a quarterback, you want to get a Jackson Dart, hey, we'll take your second. You got 2 thirds. Can we figure out a way to get another third? Like, if it's 10 down, I need to see maybe 3 multiple. I need to see 3 picks for that second pick because 35 is damn near a first round pick. That's how close it is, right?
It is.
So I'm holding firm, man, because the Titans need top talent and defensive end, receiver. At 35, you will get that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get a starter. You could get an all pro. You never know at that pick. So it's like, if we're gonna do this, which I'm all ears, I'm with it. I am not saying no, but I'm gonna tell you, to knock that lightning off the Statue of Liberty, you better come up with some ducats, because if you're not, I'm staying firm. I'm like, I'm here. And we picking whoever. You know what I mean? So yes. The answer for me, yes, but you better come up with something.
Yep.
Give
me the house. All right. So Hawk, this is gonna be a crazy scenario, but it's the Titans. They have done everything but fly to the moon. In this scenario, hypothetically, would you be upset if the Titans didn't pick Cam Ward with the first round pick, but they decided to pick a quarterback with the second round pick? How pissed off would you be if they did that?
Yeah, I would be very pissed off, because by saying in the second round you draft a quarterback, that means that was a need, right? That was a need. So given that you missed out on that in the first round on a quarterback where you had the opportunity. And then you're also saying that whoever we're picking in the second round, we feel is better than Cam or Shedeur Sanders. I think the only downside, I think the only positive of it is Shedeur going to be available at that pick in the second round. It's possible. It's possible. So, but that's a gamble. That's a humongous gamble, because there's teams in the first round that need quarterbacks, and I think Shedeur will get picked up. I think that's the only risk that you take, to say, well, let's do this. Let's draft a defensive end, or let's draft a top tackle or whatever, and just wait for the second round to see if Shedeur is available. We need to talk to these teams and figure this out. But it's 2 down the line, man. Like that's 34 picks down the road, right? So I think within that, it's very highly likely Shedeur get picked. So yes, I would be. If we end up drafting a quarterback outside of Cam or Shedeur, to say in the second round we pick somebody else, it's like, okay, you just acknowledge by drafting this high, quarterback is a need, and you drop the ball, and you have the number 1 pick in this draft, and there's not a player I don't think that's worthy of pick 1 over one of these quarterbacks. In particular, Cam Ward. I'm saying Cam. So I would be upset. I would be very upset. Round 2, the Tennessee Titans selects whoever at quarterback. I'm gonna be like, dude, you got to be flipping kidding me, bro. So yes, I would be. Yes. What about you, Jacques?
So remember, you asked me 2 shows ago or 1 show ago, would I be upset if we didn't draft a quarterback in the first round? I said it wouldn't surprise me, right? I wouldn't get emotional. But I think this scenario will make me mad. This will tick me off, because, like you said, it's a need, and you did this same crap with Will Levis, right? You actually traded up to get him. So you're telling me at that point, the leadership brass, I already don't trust them, but my trust is out the window. I threw it in the garbage, and I don't anything that you say from here on out, or from there on out, I'm not going to listen to you. I don't care. It stains the entire team for me, because it's like, okay, well, we got some good players on this team, but at the same time, you didn't address the biggest need. So whatever you do, even if you got the number 1 pick last year, I don't even trust you. So I think for me, I'll be super ticked off. But my trust for them will be validated. It'll be like, hey, this is why I don't trust y'all. This is why I continue to not trust y'all. You always be a Titans fan, but you would really have to reel me back in with something like that'll wow me to the stars, right? And I just think that if they do that scenario, it just tells me they don't know what they're doing and it's a waste of time. And what's the point at that point, right? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
what's the point? What's the point? Like, and at that point, we have to continue to watch the draft, but it's just going to be a waste. And you did the same thing that you said you wasn't going to do by bringing in somebody from a winning organization like Mike Berganzi. Then I have
Right.
to question Brinker. I'd be like, Brinker, I got to question you, dude, because at that point, Rand's gone. He don't have no power. It's you, dude, and you need to go. Like at that point, I'm
Yeah.
like, we need to go and sweep you up out of here. We need to get some experience in here. Somebody knows what they're doing. Amy, this time I'm not gonna blame you because he probably didn't have nothing to do with this. It's probably all on him. So that's why I will go with it. I wouldn't go to Brian Callahan because he ain't got no power. At that point, it tells me who really has the power if we went in that direction, which I hope
Yeah.
we don't. But it's the Titans. Vegas don't trust them. I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a trust there, man. It's a trust
Yeah.
thing with them. And I think if that scenario did play out, then yeah,
That'd be wild. That would be
yeah.
wild, wouldn't it?
That'd be sick.
If
That'd be
they
sick.
drafted a quarterback round two.
Yeah. I think
Ooh.
you'll lose the Titans brass and the Titans fan base will lose trust also. You'll have a lot of upset people where you'll really have to sell it. And I'm telling you something that they haven't done is I haven't heard Berganzi or Mike Berganzi or Brinker or anybody address the media, even when we got our free agents. So they haven't even talked to just the media, the local media. They haven't insured the fans. They haven't even talked to the fans. So it's like, what are we doing? So now if they did something like that, I don't even trust them to say anything. They're just gonna be like, well, y'all, we did it. Y'all like it. Oh well, we're gonna keep
Yeah.
pushing. So
Yeah. Yeah. He would have that whoever that quarterback is that we if that happened,
man,
he if he ends up being great, then
right,
okay, hey, Barganzi, y'all knew what y'all was talking about, right?
right.
I would be on that train like,
I'll
okay,
shut up.
you know what I'm saying? For real. I would
Right.
be like, hey, y'all knew what y'all were doing. That's why y'all get paid them high dollars, right?
Yep.
And if whoever gets picked, the quarterbacks before them, and he ends up being the best quarterback of the bunch,
Mm-hmm.
then that's how you become GM of the year when you do stuff like
Yep.
that. Like,
When you do stuff.
that's when you become, when you got guys like in Philadelphia, you got GMs like that,
Mm.
that end up making moves similar. That like, damn, like that man knows what he's doing, right?
Right.
That's how great GMs are made. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
For real. But the probability of that happening is, I don't know. We'd have
Yeah.
to see, but can't tell the future. But yeah, I'd be upset for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So cool. So yeah, man. So Jacques, bro, round two, bro. Looking at Cam Ward right now, looking at, again, we are suggesting the Titans to draft Cam Ward,
All right.
right?
Right.
So round two, man. Say for your situation, say a receiver. Do you have a receiver? One, now again, I know your mind could change come
Mhm.
mock draft, right? When we do our mock draft, is there one receiver that you have your eye on right now? It's like, hey, man, he could be available. We need to pick him up.
There's one receiver that nobody's really talking about because you have, so you got Luther Burton who he would fit the mold here, but
Mhm.
it's almost like what are they looking for? I like Luther Burton, but I'm gonna go in a different direction, and he's not getting a lot of love. It's Trey Harris, right, from Ole Miss.
Yes, sir.
Trey Harris actually reminds me of AJ Brown a lot. Okay, the way he runs his routes, the way his rack ability, right? He's not as polished as AJ when he was coming out, but he reminds me of AJ coming out. Now that's he will be there, right? Because again, he's not getting a lot of attention. He's not getting a lot of love.
Yeah.
But there is two wild cards that I'm gonna throw to you that
Okay.
actually is a possibility. Three, okay,
All
as
right.
a possibility for, and I'm gonna use your scenario when it comes to if say if the Titans do stick to 35 and they draft an end, right?
Yeah.
We get our end, yeah. There's three guys that I'm intrigued about in these later rounds. We got two fourth round picks. Okay. It's Jimmy Horn Jr. from Colorado, Isaiah Bond from Texas, and Kyle Williams from Washington State. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Those three all have something in common. And what's that, Hawk?
Yeah. Speed.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. So I have a hunch. What this is telling me, bro, is they're saying they're going to go with Traylon Burks. Was what they said. They're going to give him a shot.
Yep.
Your scenario actually might play out. And I'm thinking that they're looking at those three receivers and they're saying, hey, One of you three are gonna be a Titan. I don't know which one. It makes sense because Kyle Williams was with Cam. I mean, that makes perfect sense. But the
Yep.
other two have talent as well, right?
Yep. Yep.
So those are kind of a short list of receivers that I'm looking at and I've looked at and I've watched film on and things like that. What about you?
So I'd say this, man. The guy that I really want at defensive end, and I don't know if he'll be available, man, is Michael Williams from Georgia. I don't know if
Georgia.
he'll be available, man.
Nah, he ain't gonna be
He
available.
might be late first round pick.
Right.
That's the guy that I would prefer watching tape of him, seeing him play over the last seasons. Michael Williams is a beast. He wears 11. He's a beast. And not only is he really good in pass rushing, this guy can play as a linebacker, off-ball linebacker. He makes tackles. He's a playmaker out there. Some people have compared him to um, Michael Parsons. I've heard that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna tell you a guy that I really like, man. And watching him play in the national championship game, he's a pure leader, kind of like an Aiden Hutchinson kind of a guy. Man, that's Jack Sawyer, man, from Ohio State, dude. I
Yep.
think Jack Sawyer will be available in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
But I was impressed with the fact that he ran a 4.6 and a 40. That was
Right.
impressive. And this guy was the clear leader of a very talented Ohio State defense. He was the main guy, him. And when I think of guys like, when I say like Aiden Hutchinson or, guys like that, some of the Bosa brothers or whatever, he's got that same type of motor. And
Yep.
he was one guy when Michigan beat them. He was the main one that was like, bro, we ain't doing that around here. We're not doing that around here. He pulling people's flags. Everybody from Ohio State was just like, oh, it's cool. And he was like, nah, we ain't doing that around here. I like that, bro. When he was doing, I said, I like that. He ain't gonna stand for it. And so not only got a guy that can get to the quarterback, he also, he's a great leader. He has a motor and he has a mentality. And something when you add that with Jeffrey Simmons and you kick T'Vondre Sweat in the leg and get him upset, you got three crazy guys on the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem, dog. That's a problem.
Right.
So what I found when I saw him run the 40, when I saw him run a 4.6, I said he's put himself up. He might have been a fourth round. He has put himself up and say he's got a lot more speed than we think. We can teach him with a 4.6. We can teach him. He already got the mentality. We can teach him how to be a premier pass rusher. And again, he won a national championship. He was the number one guy on their defense. I like Jack Sawyer, bro.
So I got a follow-up question. Out of all three of those guys that I'm gonna include Abdul Carter, Michael Williams, and Jack Sawyer. Out of the three of those, who is the most complete end from your opinion? That's I ain't gonna say pro ready, but did you feel that's complete from a technique standpoint? You already said the mindset.
Yeah. Abdul Carter.
Okay.
Abdul Carter. Because I think Abdul Carter, what he does, he has more speed than both of them. He has more speed. And I actually think he's a little more, he got a little more dog in him. Dude's got a dog in him. And I know, he only played 1 year last year, defensive end or whatever. And I'm not sitting there saying he should be the first pick of the draft. But of the three, I like Abdul Carter. I think Abdul Carter's a problem on the field. And, Penn State has a lineage of guys that, even from Navarro Bowman, there's a lot of guys, they're linebacker you. I mean, it goes way back in the day, even before him. You know what I'm saying? And so, I'd be safe, just like it's safe drafting Georgia players, it's safe drafting Penn State linebackers, man, because they really do a hell of a job, and he has kept that going for sure. So I like Abdul Carter. What about you?
From a DM perspective or receiver perspective?
Well, okay. So the receiver, I'm trying to think of receivers. Okay, defensive end. The defense.
Okay.
Oh, go for it.
Okay, I mean I can give you both.
Okay.
From the DM perspective, I agree. Abdul Carter is pro ready. Only thing that concerns me with him is just his injuries, but he is the one that you can plug day one. Michael Williams is not far behind him either. Like you said, Georgia, the way he bends, this technique, he's there. And a sleeper for me is Mike Green from Marshall, man. I, for some reason, like him. And his stats are just out this astronomical. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But from a receiver standpoint, the most complete receiver in this draft to me, and I've watched him, drum roll please, Matthew Goldman from freaking Texas.
Yes,
he
sir.
is the most complete receiver out of all these receivers, even T-Mac up, because T-Mac, man, they got him right like the second receiver besides Travis Hunter. But from a pure receiver standpoint, Matthew Gober gonna make somebody happy. He gonna
Yeah.
make a team happy. Just
That's right.
from what I've seen, his route running, his ability to get in and out of his breaks, his
Yep.
speed. He ran what, a freaking 4.2? Was it 4.2?
4.29, bro.
That's crazy
It's
for his
crazy.
size.
Yeah, man.
For
Yeah.
so this is kind of, I'm like, if I was to choose a receiver in the first round, if I'm a team
Yeah.
that needs a receiver,
Yeah.
he's my first receiver coming off the board. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna
Yeah.
put it right there.
Facts. Jacques, I'm not trying to carbon copy you, bro. But I feel the exact same thing. He is the most
Yeah.
complete receiver in this draft.
Yeah.
And most people have Travis Hunter as the number one receiver in this draft right now.
Yeah.
I've seen that too. But I think receiver wise, I think so far I think it's Golden. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
It's Golden
Yeah,
from
Golden.
Texas, bro.
Man, whoever gets him, and I'm gonna tell you a team that I would like to see him go to, that he would elevate that team, is the Commanders.
Gotcha, bro. Yeah.
I know we ain't getting them. For
Yeah.
sure.
No, we're not
But
getting them.
we ain't
No.
touching them. Like, we ain't touching them. But the Commanders, if I was the Commanders and I wanted to add to the stable that I already have, because they just picked up
Debo Samuel.
Debo. They just picked up Debo.
Yeah.
Add Matthew Golden to that.
And you got Scary Terry out there.
And you got Scary Terry, bro.
Yep.
They got a hell of a team.
Yeah.
Commanders, I know y'all don't listen to the Titans, but if you the GM, you listening, y'all better make that trade draft night. I'm just saying.
That's right. That's right. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, listen, we want to say thank you all for watching the show. As always, man, shout out again to Bleacher Report for putting us on the platform. Again, if you're watching this anywhere else, man, first of all, hit that like button wherever you're at. And as well, hit the subscribe button here on Bleacher Report. You can follow me at Lorenzo_the Hulk. You can follow Jacques as well at Jacques Merrill. Hit the fire button as well, too. Keeps us in the algorithm. We're everywhere, y'all. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We got content everywhere, y'all. You just tune in. You'll see our faces covering the Tennessee Titans. Once again, we appreciate everybody watching.
Yes, sir. And when y'all do, hit the like button, hit the fire button, hit your subscribe button, put your notification bells on, because it's going to let you know when we go live and post any new content. And again, thank you, Bleacher Report, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you to the Weekly family for always supporting us, man. And we got, 2 more weeks to the draft, I think. We got 2 more weeks, man. It's creeping. It's creeping. Yeah. So get ready. Your anxiety is about to be as high as a kite. So just get ready. As we get closer, my anxiety gets just thicker, man. So I'm just anticipating this first round pick. But anyway, Hulk, as we do all the time, man, go ahead and take us up out this joint, bro.
Yes, sir. Well, we hope you all have a good rest of your day, great rest of your week as well. And as we always say, and as we always do, folks, facts,
no paper.